Welcome friends, fellow meat enthusiasts to the Steak Wolf channel. We're always trying to up our meat cutting and cooking game and sharing our findings with you. We're always trying to help you save a buck and improve upon your methods. If you're like me, you go to the grocery store these days and you see retail prices on meat, and it's not what it used to be. Your dollar doesn't go as far. It's that simple. One thing that's great to do is get into home processing. It really does have a value. Not only is it a fun hobby that you and your whole family can do, but it also saves you a lot of money if you do it with a little bit of forethought. So we're taking today on sale Boston butts for $1.49 a pound, and we're going to make some basic staples of sausage you may have, whether it be breakfast sausage or Italian sausage. It's going to keep simple recipes that anybody can make with simple ingredients, but it's going to take that, in the case of either a roll of breakfast sausage or links of Italian sausage price tag of around, in our area, $4.99 a pound, and bring it down closer to this $1.49 a pound. So step one, we're going to bone out one of these Boston butts. You don't have to do it perfect. Even if you leave a little meat on the bone, it's going to save you money for what we're doing, but I'm going to show you a good, efficient way to do it. Use a duller knife to open the packaging. Cutting through plastic doesn't help your knife. Keep your boning and slicing knife pristine. Got our 6-inch boning knife. Best way to explain this, you find the long side of the bone and the small side of the bone. The small side, this right here, and this is going to be your shoulder blade. Once you learn the shape of the bones, it's a big help. It's kind of that triangular shoulder blade shape. So you just gain a little separation here on that. And a lot of people are afraid to cut towards themselves. As long as you exercise control, you should be okay. And just using the tip, come down the bone, pulling away with your free hand. And if you're working with a German Shepherd sidekick like me, make sure they do not try to interfere for their safety. So all we're doing is exposing it. Rookie mistake to get in there and try to start removing right away. So now you can see the whole bone come straight down, riding right along the bone, opening one side up, then to the long side, same process. Stay right on the bone, mostly just using the tip of the blade, opened right up and exposed. We're then going to go underneath that beginning part, and you can kind of use the base of the knife and just scrape back. Gives you your best starting point, in my opinion. Back to the tip of the blade, under this shoulder blade. Now this time we're going to hit, I'm going to show you this way, under the long side of the bone, like that, just making sure it's good and separated. Now you have a little space, which acts as a handle, and you flip it up like this. Now there's a bone that almost looks like a shark fin that goes down. That's going to protect your hand. It's basically a blade guard. Still don't go crazy, exercise control, but we can now safely ride along this. You're not going to cut through the bone. You're still just slowly separating, removing. And we start to turn our knife once we reach that fin-like bone. And the difference between a deer bone and a pig bone, deer bone goes straight up and down, but there's actually a little bit of a curve to the pork bone, making it slightly more complicated. So I'm coming back down here, separating. Riding the bone carefully. And you could actually probably peel it out by hand at this point, but we've gone this far. Let's just take it off with our knife. And there you go. So in the German butcher shop I came up in, that would get you killed. It's supposed to be shiny, but not bad. Pretty clean bone, very little waste. Got our big knife, just cutting into strips for our grinder. Grinder we've been using for years now. As always, I'll include a link in the description below. This thing runs like a champ, great for home processing. Whether you're processing your own venison or doing like I do here, following the sales, buying bulk meat and turning it into everything else. So with Boston butts, you don't really need to add any extra fat. They kind of depending on what sausage recipe you're going with. But for the most part, the natural ratio makes a pretty juicy sausage. In our case, we do have a couple of scraps we're grinding with it that from previous videos, but not enough to make a significant difference. That's the good part about home processing. Let's say you've got too much fat or a particular amount of fat on like a pork loin or something you cut up yourself. You don't have to waste that. That could go into something else later. Little nasty gland there. We always take that out. It's not good. Because if you're cutting any kind of stew or just quantity for grinds, you don't want to cut your fingers, you want to do it fast. Great technique. Put your knuckles out like this, make sure your fingers are curved in, or you can put the blade flat up against it, slice, and you're not going to cut yourself, and you can quickly execute. Got our hopper full of our pork. We're going to start grinding it out into these disposable pans. That's what works for us. Cutting it into strips helps for this kind of grinder. It kind of feeds it right through the neck and into the tube there. Once you got your space filled, whatever you're using, a pan like us, a bowl, whatever, I recommend you put it either in your freezer or your fridge, have room ahead of time, because it does heat up just getting cut and sitting out, and it does heat up going through your grinder, and you want it to be nice and chill when you go to stuff it. We're going to do 3 simple sausage recipes, as I said. The first one being breakfast sausage. The second 2, we're going to run through the stuffer and link them. Breakfast sausage, we're just going to keep it bulk. It's a really simple recipe. It only has 4 seasoning ingredients that you add water to, and that's going to be sage, marjoram, black pepper, and salt. You could even do it without the marjoram if you don't have any, but it does add a little zip. We are going to do 12 pounds. Easy to do in increments of 3 pounds, because a basic rule of thumb for most sausage, 1 ounce of salt for every 3 pounds of meat. You could cut that back a little bit depending on what else you're putting in there, especially if there's something like cure in there. 4 ounces for 12 pounds. Then we're just going to add our black pepper. If you lightly cover the top, I'd say maybe 3/4 of an ounce at the most, depending on how spicy you like it. Sage, on the other hand, you want to hit it hard, and it's very light. Put in a straight about 2 ounces of sage there, and sage doesn't weigh much. And then the marjoram, it doesn't take much. A little bit goes a long way to add that little extra punch we're looking for. Took our empty sage container and filled it with water. Waste nothing. Maximize. But we're going to need a little bit more water than that. Just get it mixed around until it's a good, smooth consistency. Got our meat out of the freezer, and we're just weighing up our 12 pounds. On the money. 12 pounds is a lot, so this is going to be a little slow process at first. And it's looking like a lot of the water absorbed, and I'm going to add some more. But you can always add to, you can never take away, so we're going to start like this. And you just mix until it all looks like one uniform color. Smells good already. When you do it yourself, the potency is way more delicious than all those additives you get with every grocery store sausage. I mean, maybe if you're still buying from an old school butcher shop, maybe they make it fresh every day and it's awesome. But even a lot of them, it's all marketing and it's just a seasoning pack they got. They don't do it the old way. Some do. Not all. So we got our 12 pounds of breakfast sausage aside. Did another 12-pound batch for easy math. Same exact amount of salt. Same exact amount of black pepper as your base. But then garlic. People's taste varies on garlic. Same with the fennel. And everybody I know likes hot Italian. All you need for mild Italian is salt, pepper, garlic, and fennel, and you're done. For hot Italian, usually add paprika because if you made it that nice red color with all red pepper, it'd be way too hot. So we're going to add paprika, and we're going to add some red pepper flakes for some texture in there, some little heat pockets, if you will, and then some cayenne pepper, which is pretty potent, so we're not going to go too heavy on it. So with the garlic, some people do half the amount they do salt. So in a 12-pound batch, we got 4 ounces, so that would be about 2 ounces. I'm going to see what that looks like, and it'll probably be sufficient. You could probably even go lighter. And one thing to note, not all garlic is created equal. Some is more potent than others. And yeah, looking at this, just eyeballing this, I feel like that measurement would be way too much. So I'm going to stop at 1.5 ounces here for a 12-pound batch. And that'll be plenty garlicky, I'm sure. Fennel. Some people use ground fennel, which makes it more potent, but a lot of people don't like the fennel seed. I'm not going to take the time to grind it today, so I'm just going to coat the top and kind of eyeball it, and I'll tell you what it weighs. So really, about a 1/2 ounce of fennel for 12 pounds of sausage, I think works. I mean, maybe 12 pounds is a lot, maybe a little more, just a pinch more. Cayenne pepper. I would say slightly over 1/4 ounce for that 12 pounds. Paprika, we want it to look nice, so don't fear that. Then we're going to add in our red pepper flakes, which again, not something you're going to weigh up. You can if you're really particular about it, but I'd say you lightly cover the top on a bowl this size for a 12-pound batch. You'll come out all right. That was less than 1/4 ounce. Waste nothing. Get all that hot Italian-y goodness out of there. Oh, hot Italian sausage always smells good. Got it good and mixed. That paprika really came through, gave it that nice color. Again, that most of that's not from that little bit of cayenne in there. But you can see the nice little bits of fennel, nice little pepper flakes. That's about sporadic enough how I pictured it. That's going to be some really delicious hot Italian sausage. We got our hot Italian sausage all stuffed and linked. That's a good amount of sausage there. Pretty excited about that. Now we're going to make a third sausage. A lot of people are intimidated by doing this stuff at home. You really shouldn't be. When it comes down to it, all sausage is ground meat and seasoning. So if you didn't want to do this whole process, if you just wanted to take some already ground meat that you get from the store, it works with beef, pork, chicken, whatever, turkey, doesn't matter, and you wanted to mix and match and come up with a seasoning blend, you could totally do that. Trust me, I've been doing this a long time. I've got about 1 million tried and true sausage recipes in my head, and I invent stuff all the time, and it's way easier than you think. The main component to screw up to me is salt. If you make it too salty, you can't take it back, or it'll come out too bland. Other than that, you kind of play with things to taste. We did a sausage playing around a few years ago, which actually ended up being a hit. Taco sausage. We're just going to take taco seasoning, mix it into our meat, stuff it into a casing. It's a hit. People like it. Because you typically put taco seasoning into ground meat that's already been browned, you got to consider it's going to be a little less potent that you're putting into it raw and then cooking it all the way. So I've got 7 pounds of pork here left. I'm going to use 8 packets of taco seasoning, and the only other thing I'm going to add is a little paprika, just so it's a little more aesthetically pleasing. Really doesn't do much for flavor though. So here we go. Bowl full of taco seasoning, a little bit of darker color in there. Add water and mix. Seriously, it smells amazing. I'm making a fiesta for your mouth. So we got this stuffer full. I'll include the link in the description below. It's about a 7-pound bucket on it. But when you put in seasoning and water, it expands the meat. So it obviously is more than 7 pounds now. So this is going to take a couple of tries through. We're just going to stuff it into our hog casing. 29-32 is the preferable, but 32-35 will work. There you have a nice, bright, beautiful taco sausage. We're going to go ahead and tie off the end, make it about bun size, shrinks a little as you cook it, and get a couple of packages of this linked up. So here's our taco sausage. It's looking pretty good, looking like it's time to try it. So not long ago, this all started as $1.49 Boston butt roasts. And now we've got some delicious breakfast sausage, some Italian sausage, which we've topped with onions and peppers, and our unique taco sausage, which we added a little cheddar, a little sour cream, and a little Fritos because, you know, it's taco sausage. Why not? If you guys really want to say we're not going to eat your science no matter how you market it, here you go. Plant-based meat is poison. Get it in the Steak Wolf store. I'm going to first start with this breakfast sausage. It's exactly what I want. I taste every ingredient. Sage, marjoram, salt, black pepper. It's perfect. Needs nothing. You could put that on a breakfast sandwich, dress it up any way you want, add egg, add cheese. All a good experience, but if you just want to eat it straight up like that, it is perfect. Give that recipe a shot. You won't be disappointed. Let's move on to our hot Italian. Nailed it. It's not hard to make an Italian sausage. Follow that ratio. Delicious. It's hard to beat the basics. I know it's a basic Italian sausage. If there's any sausage you'd like to see me make, put it in the comments below. Odds are I know how to make it. Or if you've got your own you want me to make, tell me in the comments the recipe. I just might give it a try. Let's move on to the taco sausage. You're not going to believe it. It's outstanding. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. I appreciate you watching. One thing you might not see is what goes on behind the scenes here. A lot of work from our film production crew. Here's a look at a little behind the scenes, what the time they've been putting in.